We are surrounded by fast-paced life. Due to science and technology, the latest techniques and methodologies have been introduced to meet the challenges of new century. But what? Think if you have to live without all these inventions and discoveries. Behind me, the remains of the buildings were discovered about 5,000 to 8,000 years ago. So how the people were at that time, what their dresses look like, and what their eating habits are. So I will bring this all in front of my audience, and you can enjoy, stay with me. Oh yes, don't forget to subscribe, like and share my YouTube channel so that you can get my all videos and the parts of this documentary on time. So are you ready? If yes, so please thumbs up and follow me. What would life have been like in a world around in this time? Life was really difficult and exhausting by our standards. You need a special set of skills to survive. And that skills which can give you a hope of life.
It would take a very long time and considerable assistance for modern man to adapt to the prehistoric world. He would probably spend all his time keeping alive, keeping a roof above his head and growing enough food. By the Neolithic and Bronze Age, some surplus time and surplus produce was available to enable him to indulge in centralised activities. So you start to see places like Stonehenge appear on the landscape. By the end of the Iron Age, more time had become available thanks to improvements in agriculture and the like, and that enabled hill forts to be produced, and for the first time known groupings of people across the landscape. So kingdoms, if you like, and different tribal groups for the first time, of the sort that we know of from the arrival of the Romans, such as the Iceni and the Catibalorni.
In modern world, we are doing different jobs and using a modern way of trading.
Yes, jobs and trading. Now the families are in family groups or extended family groups, and they're isolated to some extent in the countryside. So most tasks had to be performed within that group. So they'd make a lot of their own clothing, for example, and have to process much of their own food.
And that process required too many months to produce such a stuff for trading.
The process of making a textiles from the start, so from the material of raw wool of the ships or a plant-based materials to the product which you had to make a thread before in this tool is about a year. So you need to work 1 year, about 1 year, to make a piece of clothing.
I'm archaeologist, and my friend here, he's making a stone axe. He's polishing it. It takes 120 to 150 hours to make this kind of axe.
challenges were not only to produce tools, but to avoid from superstitious, also a big challenge at that time.
Most of children died in infancy, but if you made adulthood, then you could expect life 40 or 45 years old. To keep them healthy, they have different beliefs on.
Gods with specific names started to appear. And they were often mapped onto existing gods or beliefs that they held before those specific named gods appeared. And I'm thinking in terms of Mithras, for example, that the Romans brought in.
I am a student at the University of Warsaw, and here we tackle the topic of the Mesolithic beliefs connected with the cult of the earth. Here we have Venuses of different copies of Venuses, and we try to understand what this is really all about. But in general, we would say this is a cult of the earth, the Mother Earth, the Great Mother, and the worshipping of fertility, connecting with the earth, the soil, and the amount of food that one can grow in connection to the fertility of the earth. And the fertility of the earth is very much connected to the fertility of women back then. And the exaggerated features of those figurines, they have, we understand they have connections with the amount of children a woman could bear at the time, with the great hips that could bear children better and more of them, and the larger breasts which could actually feed them once they came to the world right here.
Round houses, circular houses with roofs of straw or reed or rush. And the roofs ran right the way down to the ground, and there may be drainage channels all the way around where the rainwater ran away. Rushes might be laid on the floor for them to sleep on, not particularly comfortable, but better than being out in the forest at night. If you were one of the higher groups, one of the leading groups in society, you might be able to afford a wooden structure. Potentially, as time went on, these became rectangular. In both, a fire would be situated in the middle of the room. Every activity in the house would be performed in that one room, and you would sleep around the fire with the smoke from the fire filtering through the straw in the roof. So, the modern era versus the prehistoric era. In conclusion, could modern man survive in that ancient time span? Well, with great difficulty. He would need an awful lot of assistance, and if he was left to his own devices, he would soon perish in that environment, having no idea how to search for prey or grow his own crops.